My name is Manonatha. I was initiated in 1974 by Srila Prabhupada, and I was asked to say something about our spiritual master, my personal experience, if any. There were some. So I accepted, and I'm going to say something. I think we are 6 people who are supposed to speak today. In the list there were 6 people. So if we have an hour and a half, that means about 20 minutes each. So it's not much, but more or less 20 minutes. Every time I get to speak about Srila Prabhupada or personal remembrances of Srila Prabhupada, I ask myself 2 questions. First question, how much the pronoun I should be present? Should be kept a minimum, and that minimum should be only for contextualize the story I am saying, I'm telling. Second, how much I am morally expected to say something very intimate, personal realization, personal emotions, things like that. That should be even less than minimum because it's personal, it's private. Some may believe what I say, and these people will try to imitate, risking to become Prakrita Sahaja, something like that, more or less. Second, will not believe me, and I think that I am faking something that there was not. So in both cases, I just don't like it, and I will just omit most of personal realization. This effect that being in presence of Srila Prabhupada was something extraordinary. And I'm sure all my God sisters and God brothers had some kind of emotions, spiritual emotions, maybe 80% spiritual, 20% material, maybe vice versa. Whatever it is, we all have some kind of emotions because Srila Prabhupada was not a normal man, not even a normal guru, was something really extraordinary. So, His Divine Grace had only one desire, to spread Krishna consciousness. So we all know that. And but in my native country, the Mahamantra Hare Krishna arrived before him. Arrived in 1972, when the radio was broadcasting the Radha Krishna Temple album, and I liked especially the Hare Krishna mantra, and seated in the Padmasana, I was practicing some yoga. With my guitar, I was chanting Hare Krishna. 1973, the movement arrives in my country, which is Italy. And Srila Prabhupada asked a very known devotee here in Vrindavan to come to Italy and open a temple. And this devotee accepted. He didn't speak a single word of Italian, so he went through Paris, he picked up some Italian-speaking devotee, and he came. At the end of 73, December, our first temple was rented, and the Hare Krishna movement came in Italy. At that time, there were 60 million people living in the country, speaking the language. So, in those 60 million people, there were a number of people patiently waiting for Krishna consciousness to arrive, some other impatiently waiting for Krishna consciousness arriving, trying to figure out what this is all about, why I'm alive, what I'm doing, what is going to be my life, what sense does it make, everything. I don't want to study, I don't want to work, I don't want to. Many people, we were very idealistic at that time. We were coming out from the 60s, and so everything was ideal. The ideal of spirit, the ideal of an absolute truth. And so in February, the Gornitai deity was established in Italy. Very beautiful deity, they are still there, exceptionally beautiful. And Srila Prabhupada accepted to come to Italy in May, at the end of May 1974. There were very few devotees, very enthusiastic, very pure in their heart. At that time, I would say that we had a lot of pure devotees. You know, living in a temple wasn't easy, it was very austere. We were getting up at 2:30, 3 o'clock, cold shower, very cold shower, and Mongol Arctic, the Brahmachari ashram, they were only Brahmachari, were closed by key. You could not go back to sleep because it was closed. So someone would go to sleep on the top of the building, and someone in the car, anyway, all of us were trying to sneak around and find some place to sleep. Summertime was easy, wintertime was not so easy. So the devotees, they were in total ecstasy, Srila Prabhupada is coming. And this phrase, Srila Prabhupada is coming, in the 70s, were like a magical phrase, Srila Prabhupada is coming. And everyone used to become exceedingly happy and dynamic. Let's prepare this country, Rome, the capital city, for Srila Prabhupada's arrival. So they literally papered the whole city. In Rome there were about 5 million inhabitants at that time. 5 million, a lot of people. So they papered the whole of the city with Srila Prabhupada posters, black and white poster. I never forget that. Just the face, that's the first. You could see only his face, and written Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. That was my first encounter with Srila Prabhupada. It was not physical. It was looking at his face. First time, big traffic, 10, 15, 20 minutes in the bus, everyone like this looking outside, you couldn't move. So we were just a unique ball of flesh inside the bus. And the bus stopped in a traffic light. In the traffic light there was a Srila Prabhupada poster. And it was just in front of me. And I was looking to him for 15, 20 minutes. And I tell you, this is what's called a mystical experience, which I'm not going, as promised, I'm not going to tell anything about. But it was very deep, extraordinary inner experience of seeing the messenger of God coming to my city. And I was seeing the devotees around. I didn't like the Hare Krishna, although I figured out that the Hare Krishna month and the Hare Krishna, they had something to do. But I didn't like them very much, the way they were very young, and they had green dhotis, blue t-shirt, they were not kurtas at that time, like this. But I liked very much this sage. I didn't know that he was the spiritual master of the Hare Krishna. So, and everywhere I went, there was a Srila Prabhupada face, everywhere. And the devotees told me, for some reason I couldn't go to his conference, and I didn't know that they opened the temple just 200 meters from my home. I mean, Rome is a huge city. You could take 3 or 4 hours to go from one side to the other side. But the devotees, they were, I don't know what to say about this Krishna's kindness. They opened the temple so close to my home. So, first time, so Srila Prabhupada came, Srila Prabhupada went, couple of months passed, I went to the temple, and there I saw Srila Prabhupada seated, picture of Srila Prabhupada seated in the temple room. Then at the day I decided that the Hare Krishna, they were already okay, because the Hare Krishnas were the disciples of my spiritual master. What I decided it was my spiritual masters, although I had never seen him. It was just a mystical experience, a mystical decision. At the time I was 18, so very young. So I joined in August, took initiation in November. At that time it was pretty quick, taking initiation. And, but I didn't see my spiritual master. I took first and second initiation. I couldn't see my spiritual master until 76. 76, the Srila Prabhupada came in France, and it was the third time the Srila Prabhupada was coming near to me, and I couldn't meet him. So that time I said, I'm not going to miss him. I was a pujari, the head pujari. Our deities, Gauranitai, had a very high standard, nothing to envy to any Radha Krishna deities at that time. We had full offering, prasadam, was very complicated worship, and we were two pujari. Actually, we were many than two, but the temple president decided two pujari to stay, and everybody else we go to meet Srila Prabhupada in France, in Nouvel Mayapur. Nouvel Mayapur, I think, it still exists, and it's in the center of France, and between Paris and Lyon, something like that. Valenciennes is called. And the temple president said, you should stay together with this other devotee. I protested. And I said, no, I want to go. And he said, no, you cannot go because you are the head pujari. And I said, okay, I'm the head pujari, but I'm going. He said, no, you stay. At that time, it was very difficult to disobey to the temple president. It's not like today everybody does what he likes. But at that time, you won't do that very easily. So I said, okay, go. No, and everybody go. We were about 70, 80 brahmacharis at that time. We were almost all brahmacharis. I was a brahmachari also. And I said, yes, go. As soon as they went, I called one of my friends, let's go to France. So we drove 2 days from Rome to France to meet Srila Prabhupada. When I arrived, Srila Prabhupada already arrived the day before. The temple commander was my very dear friend at the time. He's still my very dear friend. He said, oh, Manonatha, you are here. I have a very nectarian service for you. Do you want it? I said, yeah, of course I want it. Are you sure? It's very, very nectarian service. He said, okay, what is this service? The only service left is to guard the Srila Prabhupada personal door, the apartment he had. And I wondered how come the most nectarian service there is, nobody has already taken. In a way or in another, nobody was guarding Srila Prabhupada apartment. And I was appointed to be there. Although I didn't sleep nor eaten for 2 days, when you are 18, you can do anything. You can lift the world with one hand, so much energy. So I stayed there, and this apartment has a very peculiar door. Actually, it's a double door that opens like this. My service was to close the door when everybody was going out, and ask the devotees, because Srila Prabhupada didn't like noise, especially slamming of the door. He really hated that. So I was for hours doing slow down. We didn't have blood at the time. We had liquid alava. So we were full of passion and energy, and the devotees weren't walking. They were along the long corridors of the castle. So and I decided to see my spiritual master. I couldn't, because these very good devotees never forgot to close the doors. But at the end, his secretary, who had prasadam plates in both his hands, he couldn't close the doors. So this was my chance to see Srila Prabhupada for the first time. I was first and second initiated. I was already, at that time, I was quite a senior devotee, So I never seen Srila Prabhupada. So I thought, what do I do? Do I close the door or I enter into the room? I said, this is my chance. I entered the room. So nowadays, all these things may appear to many devotees very childish. And maybe they were. But we were living our relationship with Srila Prabhupada in a very deep and emotional way. Srila Prabhupada for us, at least for me, he wasn't a man. He wasn't even a guru, he was a deity. So that's the way I was perceiving Prabhupada. And so I was very shy in entering his room, because it's like when you enter into the deity room, you don't just enter, you say your prayers, your mantra, you meditate on lotus feet, you ask permission, then you enter. So I entered and I saw Srila Prabhupada for the first time, and he was sitting on the floor, very thin mat. He didn't have royal dresses like someone may imagine for a deity. He had a very simple cotton dhoti and kurta, and he was taking prasada. I was watching him how he was taking prasada, the way he was moving. You haven't seen him, so he didn't need to make up a show, of moving in a certain way, or being very aristocratic in his face, and keeping his chin high, all these things. You don't, if you are alone, you just, relax and do whatever you want. But Srila Prabhupada wasn't that way because he was showing. Srila Prabhupada was that way. He was moving in that way, he was portraying his face in that way. So he was cutting his chapati with his 3 fingers like this, then he take one piece, put it in the sabji, and doing like this without touching the lips. I saw Srila Prabhupada for a week, entire week, taking prasad every day. He never touched his face, lips, not even one time. And he was like this, and he was obviously enjoying his prasadam. Then he saw me, and he asked me, "Oh, what can I do for you?" And I couldn't answer. I just backed, doing obeisances, and backed out, because I think every one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples has a particular relationship with Srila Prabhupada. I never envied my god brothers and god sisters that would go inside and talk to Prabhupada and, doing questions and talking about plans like this, because I feel better like a very young brahmachari at his lotus feet, and that's what I like to be for the whole of my life. So now we have 3 or 4 little, very short pastime. First pastime is that Srila Prabhupada was giving a Bhagavatam class, and actually, since my time is running out, I should have cut on something. Anyway, one day Srila Prabhupada went out. He wanted to sit down on the grass, and he asked the devotees, "Are there any snakes?" And so in India, you don't sit down everywhere, especially at that time, because there may be animals, there may be snakes. And in France, there are no cobras, There may be some snake, it's not a big thing. Anyway, there was one American devotee who misunderstood what Prabhupada was asking, and he understood if there were any lakes. So this devotee said, "Oh yeah, Prabhupada, there is a very big one just down there." And Prabhupada said, "A very big one just down there?" I said, "Yes, Prabhupada, a very big one. There is also a smaller one a little far." And then everyone started to laugh, very like you are doing, but very bad, because we were about 2,000 devotees at that place at that time, and everyone was laughing and enjoying. And one devotee said to Prabhupada, "No, Prabhupada, he misunderstood." And Prabhupada did this big oceanic smile that you just enjoy for a week just thinking to that. Srila Prabhupada smiling was so beautiful, so exceptionally beautiful. Another pastime, we were installing deities, and one devotee at the end of the installation asked Srila Prabhupada, "How can we see the deities? How can we see Krishna?" And Prabhupada chuckled a little bit. He said, "We have been seeing the deities the whole day, And of course the devotee was meaning, how can we see the deities moving? But Srila Prabhupada didn't make any difference between the deities moving and deities not moving. For him, we were looking to the deities. So he said to the devotees, you can see Krishna, we just installed it on the altar. And another short pastime is that one guest made a question to Srila Prabhupada and asked him, and started the question in this way, Jagat Guru. He meant to follow the question with something else. So Srila Prabhupada stopped him and he said, no Jagat Guru, I am Krishna Das. I am Krishna's servants, no Jagat Guru, like this. So everyone was worshipped him, rightly so. Srila Prabhupada said Jagat Guru, the Guru of everyone. But Srila Prabhupada taught us that we can think in that way, but he never thought in that way. Because the main quality of a guru is that he thinks to be a servant. If a guru doesn't think to be a servant, it's not a guru, because in the moment it's automatically fallen. So always remember this teaching from Srila Prabhupada. And he kind of screamed, like very strongly, no Jagat Guru, like that. No? And so I want to be disciplined. I already stolen from my brother, sister, 1 minute, 2 minutes. So we'll stop here. I got 4 or 5 more pastimes, but I can tell them some other time. Okay, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.